to order with the gong show here. Look, I told you my audience was great. Look, they're already here. They're like me. They sit in the front of the class and they're like, oh yeah, which is why I'm so excited to introduce you, one of my favorite new mentors in my life, David Mehler, to my amazing tribe. Welcome everybody to a very special show, very special episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. I am thrilled to introduce you to a soul brother of mine, David Mehler. He has inspired me I say the past week, but it's actually 2 weeks now, I think, since we've been in Costa Rica. Really held space for powerful transformation in my life. You are a master doing the work, and I'm so excited to introduce you to those who are hanging out here with me inside the Akashic Academy. So let me talk to you guys. Welcome. You all have been such a loyal audience following along with the transformation that I've undergone as an entrepreneur, as a light worker. You've experienced huge transformation yourself as you're holding space for me. I'm so excited to introduce you to David. He's one of the souls, the avatars behind the scenes of what's holding up space for the movement that is the Akashic Academy. He's got his own movement, Man On Fire, focusing specifically on how to uplift the divine masculine. And I'm so stoked that you're here because you are such a busy man. The fact that I have you here today, friend, is such an honor. So welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here and a part of your group.
So everybody, I would like to encourage you to say hello once you get here. Let us know where you're from. I want you to begin the exercise of creating the sacred container that we're about to open right here, right now, by visualizing all of these lights coming on all over the planet. Where we're showing up, we are here in this space ready to receive it. You guys know that I am a storyteller at my heart and soul. So we're going to tell some stories today. If this is the first time you are joining, the first time you have seen my face on your computer screen or on your phone, if you're joining on your phone, my name is Emily Harrison. I'm the founder and director of the Akashic Academy, which is an online mystery school for light workers where you can continue to grow and develop your skills in mysticism. This is so important, the knowledge that we hold right now on the planet, whether we are bringing forward the ancient wisdom, whether we are holding space for others to make their transformation. This is the age of enlightenment. And those of you who are here right now, whether you're watching live or on the replay, you are part of this movement. So I'm so happy that you are here. My area of expertise is in the Akashic Records, which is the realm of consciousness where every detail has been recorded, past, present, and future. When people learn that they can access the cosmic library of all information, every single human being has the ability to do this. We level the playing field. Knowledge is now the most valuable commodity on the planet. It's more valuable than oil. And when humans realize that we have access to all the same resources from a God level perspective, this means unconditional love and zero judgment. It changes the dynamics of how we're showing up here on the planet. So I'm excited to welcome you into this space. I want to get into talking about how I met you, my friend. Because you haven't necessarily heard this story from my perspective yet, but I've been talking a whole lot and I want them to hear your voice and to tune in with you and what you do. So I know I put your bio up there on the screen. I'm going to share a little bit of background about you here just to bring everybody in, but then I promise I'm going to be quiet. And I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what you do. And then I'm going to tell them about the first moments that I met you. Okay, so David has a background in chiropractic, neurophysiology, anatomy, personal development. I'm going to add magic to that as well because I have seen your high-level 5D magician skills. And you are using this to assimilate and create your own way of working with people with programs that are transforming their lives. So talk a little bit more about that, please.
Thank you. And before I even go into that, I wanted to say, so beautiful that you're giving this gift to people of how to tune into the right radio station and have access to this incredible wisdom that life offers from the past, the present, and the future self. And the thing that I've become super passionate about is helping people take this wisdom, this knowledge, and actually being able to apply it. Because there's things that we hear, there's things that we know, and then there's this big gap of what we know. Our soul's been telling us, our soul's been informing us, or the Akashic Records are informing us. But then there's this fear that lives inside of all of us that doesn't allow us to always confront and step into the powerful decisions that we know are really seeking us out. And then for many people, what has to happen is that we have to have a breakdown in order to be woken up more fully. I'd like to think that I want to meet people at that interception point where rather than them choosing more breakdowns, whether it's the health challenge, whether it's the divorce, whatever it is that's been seeking you out, because information, knowledge, and wisdom is always seeking you out and is always informing you of your highest good and of the decisions that will call you forth into an up-level version of yourself. So I meet people at that bisect where I say, hey, let's choose breakthrough. Let's infuse courage. Let's have a little tenacity, a little fierceness. Let's have empathy and compassion. And let's take all of these ingredients, throw them into the blender, and powerfully move forward. Because I don't want to have to let my symptoms or condition or diseases become my informant. I'd rather be able to listen before my body has to tell me, hey, you're tuning out innate wisdom. You're tuning out the records. Let's tap in. Let's have the courage and the boldness to really face what life is offering us, because what life is really inviting us to is to live at our highest vibration. And then we have this funny little thing called the mind that likes to have its own agenda. And then we have the soul that says, come with me. And she whispers and she says, come with me. And the mind says, no, I'm stubborn. I'm not doing it. And so I like to gently put people in a headlock, give them a few noogies, get them back on track, in a sense, light the fire again, right? Being a man on fire is really living with more inspiration and passion and power and deeply rooted in your mission and your purpose as a man, as a human being. And the thing that I'm most passionate about is to be the sacred protector of the feminine heart. I am biased. I believe that the feminine is here to heal the world, to heal the planet. And I believe that it's through the opening of her heart, through her relationships, that this is what's going to transform humanity, and that the masculine has signed on for the role to create that safe space for the sacred feminine heart to be illuminated. So that's really the undercurrent of Man on Fire, which is, it's not about all these superficial problems. It's more about coming home into the masculine leader that you were born to be, embracing and accepting the mission of why you came here as a man, and being the guardian and protector of the sacred feminine heart in a time and in a generation where it's so needed right now. So needed.
It's beautiful to witness you holding the space and understanding that pattern. And I just want to add to that, Mother Earth is divine feminine in her nature, in her makeup, and all that is born here on the planet is born through the divine feminine. So thank you for seeing that, and thank you for being stepping up to protect that. Because when we don't have to fight for that, those of us who are embodying that divine feminine energy and avatar on the planet, when we don't have to fight for that, when we don't have to fight to be seen, we can focus our energy on other beautiful things, which is just how we continue this cycle of holding space for each other. It's so beautiful. So I first came into, well, I should say you first came into my awareness when I signed on for entrepreneurial coaching with Alex Moscow and Congruent Coaching. So I wasn't really seeing you even in this space yet. I was seeing you more as showing up, listening to how you were coaching me as an entrepreneur through the process of shifting big shifts that I wanted to make in my business, which is how I ended up in Costa Rica with you. But I came to you much like a lot of people come here into this space. I was like forgive me for calling you guys groupies out there, but I'm going to use this in the best way possible. I was such a groupie diving into all of this recorded content. So I felt like I was getting really valuable wisdom from you. And since I know wisdom is such a beautiful gift we give each other, I was already getting so filled up by what you were presenting. And I'm like, oh man, this guy doesn't even know me. And I'm going to show up spilling over the edges, which I did slightly. I sent you a little bit of a groupie message on Facebook before we actually met in Costa Rica. Oh, David, Mr. Mehler, I'm so excited to meet you. But I knew I had to keep it cool. I had to keep it chill. And I also knew that because I could see your light right away, I also knew that you would see mine, and there would be beautiful opportunity for us to connect more deeply and to for each other's mission. But I had to go easy on that because it's a little weird when you show up in the beginning and just be like, hey, hang on. So brother, there's alignment mission work here to do, because I have approached relationships that way before. And it's always interesting how it lands. But I know the feeling when there is powerful alignment to hold space for. But I was trying to keep it cool anyway. So when I first met you in person, it was literally like a Rolling Stone kind of moment. We were getting ready to get on a private plane to fly into the jungle to this amazing resort where we were coming together with other like-minded, like-souled entrepreneurs to create sacred magic, aligning so many aspects of life. And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, there's David Mehler. All right, be cool. And I think I was pretty cool. I came over and said hello to you and Joshua, who was traveling with you. And I think I kept it pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But I was overflowing inside because it's so exciting for me to be in the space of other masters doing the work. And as the week continued to evolve, we had a lot of really beautiful opportunities. One of my favorite stories, and I would love to hear it from your perspective first, was the day that we remember when we went to the beach and we took the vacation day just to kind of like, we thought we were taking the day to chill and relax. And what really happened was when we showed up there, about 30 minutes before we got there, a tourist boat had capsized in the ocean when we were there. And we didn't know right away. Many of you guys saw the beach pictures that I posted. I didn't post a ton of pictures from Costa Rica, but my friend Amber took some good beach pictures. I'm like, yeah, that one's getting posted. And we were having fun. And then Alex came over and gathered us together and shared with us that this had happened, that this boat had capsized, and that 5 of our men who we were traveling with, David being one of them, went out to help the rescue to recover the tourists that had gone in. And so Alex had led us to a prayer circle, and we're all coming, like, we're entrepreneurs. Not everybody's woo-woo as me, but they might just not know it yet. But we all came together in a very woo-woo fashion, connected, holding hands, singing, praying for the men, and the energy shifted, but in a beautiful way where we recognize, like, when you show up on this planet in mission, in soul service mission, you're going to be called to show up and serve wherever you are, if your eyes are open and your heart is open. And it became a beautiful experience of really showing up and doing the work in a different way. You were one of the guys who ran out there, and I haven't heard it from your perspective yet.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you experienced that.
When I used to visit my dad when I was a little kid, because my parents got divorced when I was 13, every time I would visit him and I would get ready to leave, he would say, "Can you stay for 1 more hour?" That was always his go-to line. And I would say, "I'll give you 15 more minutes, Pop." And somehow he negotiated for another set of 15 minutes. So it turned out to always be an hour. And fast forward to about 4 years ago, when I was in the hospital by his side, knowing that he was getting ready for his transition. And my kid brother said, I'll see you later. I'll come back to the hospital later to be with you and Dad. And I said, okay, I'll see you later, Stevie. And I knew in my heart I wasn't going to see him later, because I knew that my dad was going to transition. Well, to the exact minute after my brother left, my dad stayed around for 1 more hour. I gave him that 1 more hour. And I held his hand for his last breath. I had that sacred privilege, that emotion of the beauty of watching someone transition, but also the pain and seeing the remorse and the regret of I didn't fully live the life that was intended for me. And it was that bifurcation of that pain. But the reason that I share that story with you is because the unfolding of synchronicity, the magic and the timing, how everything is always unfolding, is always available to us. Mm-hmm. And we just have to slow down enough to see that everything has been perfectly and divinely and poetically timed. And if we connect the dots, it becomes a cosmic joke of how playful and how funny and how the rapture and the awe that's a part of it is incredible to witness and to experience. So that brings me to the story of us at the beach, which is Alex could have said we're going to the beach any day of the week. It was chosen. It was already chosen in the fields. It was already meant to be. The synchronicity was already lined up where they were going to have a bunch of masculine pillars going and helping out in the assist and the rescue, and then the feminine was going to be there with the grace and blessing everything and calling everybody up from the ocean, making sure nobody drowned, and calling in and holding space vibrationally for what would take place. So I saw that as no accident. I saw it as divine intervention. I saw the coincidence, which means the coincidence means it was 100% predictable that it was supposed to happen the way it happened. So the experience for me was like, wow, what a gift that we were brought here to vibrationally hold space for what's going to happen right here. And the greatest part of the story is nobody lost their life. Just a couple of bruises, a couple of scrapes. People were scared, but it all worked out.
It did. It was a big, energetic roller coaster that I remember personally going through. I was wiped out by the end of the day. There was also the journey getting there and back, which ended up being a bumpy, long road. Bumpy, long, windy road. A lot of us.
My tushy is still sore from that. Can we say that? Can we say that to your group?
Yeah, you can. You can say ass even here, because I don't think my mom's on. I haven't seen her yet. You can still say ass if mom comes on, but she'll scold me later for it.
Okay.
But that's good. It still keeps us in line.
But what left a mark for me on that day was how we were able to go from the sadness and the concern and the worry and into the high reverence and respect for life and how precious it is. And then what we were able to do literally 10 minutes later is switch states and allow the innocence of the inner child. We were playing in the ocean like children. I mean, we were not adults. We were kids again. And to know the lesson in it is like, I don't have to live in my suffering. That's a choice. Like I can go from suffering to total rapture and awe and playfulness and innocence. Like it's like that, it could happen.
I'm so glad you brought my awareness back to that, because I'll be honest, I had forgotten that part of the moment of how that unfolded. We went for it, diving into the huge waves that were coming in. It were knocking my eyelashes off. I wanted to go in like straight forward, but I'm like, oh no, this is going to knock my eyelashes off if I do this. But I went ahead and went for a couple of them anyway. It was so much fun. We came back, there were coconuts. Ben had coconuts waiting for all of us, the magnificent Ben and Jen. Synergita forever. Man.
Yeah, it was a sacred day. It was very sacred.
And an entire sacred week. Such a pleasure to get to know you and get to know more of the work that you're doing. I'd love you to be able to talk a little bit more about Man on Fire, because this is a program, and then you also have a live immersion event coming up that I am sending personal guests to. People that I love are going to this event, and seats are limited. So if you want them, we have special coupon codes and everything for you guys. But talk a little bit more about that event and how that came about.
Thanks. This started about 5 years ago, where I accepted the responsibility of knowing what my mission is here in this world. I think we all have the opportunity to have access to these files, these records. This is what you're supporting your tribe with. And, when soul whispers to you, or when the records reveal something to you, you have choice. You could either ignore it and sign up for more pain, or you can embrace it courageously, and you actually get more filled or fulfilled because you're just finally being exactly who you came here to be. So from my past and my own wounding, and then how I perpetuated my father's pattern and didn't survive it through my first marriage, meaning I wasn't the mature masculine, I wasn't the leader that I was born to be. And in my immaturity and in my not being able to hold masculine presence for my wife, we didn't make it through the rough patch and we went separate ways. The beautiful part of that story is that 3 years into Man on Fire, my ex-wife's new husband, she had him go to my program and gave me like the greatest gift ever of being able to serve her and serve him in that way. So what I found, Emily, is that women have a sisterhood. and they can share with one another, and they can be in these groups where they can be vulnerable. Men are more like this, tight-lipped, arms crossed, go internal, go introverted. I'll go into the cave. I'll go into the dungeon. I'll figure it out. My experience is, when you figure it out, you'll have watched life go by, and you'll have regret. And one of the most powerful things that a man can ever do is reach his hand out and grab another brother's hand and be okay with being vulnerable enough to ask for support. To me, the power in a man is in the willingness of his vulnerability. And so I've created a culture for men to feel safe in being supported, in being vulnerable, like reconnecting to their emotions, but also being held very fiercely accountable to the bigness of who they are, and to embody the energy of courage, and to embody the energy of accepting your greater purpose and greater mission here in this world. So we've cultivated this beautiful environment for men, a safe space to really call each other out, hold each other accountable, check judgment at the door, trade it in for love. And we're all about reigniting the heart in a man and integrating that with the rest of his being so that he powerfully brings himself back into his environment, back into his culture, back into his marriage, back into his finances. Like everything that's happening in our life that's falling apart, we know this is just a product of our internal struggle and war that we're having, right? Financial bankruptcy, all this stuff is all in relationship to emotional and spiritual bankruptcy. So we're all about reigniting that fire, the passion, the power, and the purpose in a brother. So how we did it for the past 5 years is we had these very intimate programs of 18 men where we can take a deep dive, and I'd say it's a big investment financially for the men, but they'd say they would have paid 10 times over that. But what we've recently done and what we're offering up to your community is, for the first time ever, we're holding a Man on Fire live in mid-November, where we're going to have 100+ men in the room. We've given it a very low ticket price to give men a rudimentary, invitation into our community, and to surround themselves with other men that are passionate about their growth, that don't want to be all airy-fairy and all about the fluff, all about just, you got to connect to the cosmos and to the records. You also have to be grounded and rooted, and you also have to be totally like in your power. There's an integration that needs to happen where we integrate this spiritual realm with the groundedness, with the courage, and you put those three together, and it's called masculine leadership. And again, I'm passionate about that so that we can bring this back into our relationships, especially with the feminine, which is what I'm super, super passionate about. And like I said, my ex-wife sending her husband to my program was like, oh, thank you, God, for the confirmation that I'm on the right path. And it's just, when you finally let go and surrender and you let faith take over, it's the most beautiful thing ever.
It is the most beautiful thing ever. And you have a relationship that is so lovely and aligned now. Your wife does similar work to you, but in the divine feminine. Just give her a bit of a shout out and talk a little about her work too.
Well, first of all, the man sitting here today wouldn't be this man if it wasn't for my muse. Like my wife, she is a beacon of light that calls me forth continually to be a better man. She doesn't challenge me because it's for men to challenge men, but it's that in her deep soulful yearning to want to be fully seen, fully taken, ravished. And she's just a fierce woman that, she doesn't settle. There's no BS. And she's always a beautiful mirror for, am I living out of integrity and out of authenticity with myself? So she's my muse. And so my wife is absolutely a huge, reason as to why I embraced this challenge. And I got my queen by my side. Like every king wants his queen, and the man is only as strong as the woman by his side. So we're both conscious about growth. We recognize we both came in with our own patterns. We recognize we're both going to be each other's mirror. There's no finger pointing. There's no blaming. But here's the thing that I want to share, and I think this might serve the audience, is that there will always be times in our life where we go into the forgetting, meaning I forget who I really am on a soul level. So my wife and I, our contract is when she forgets, I remind her. If I forget, she brings me home to the remembrance. But if we both forget, which is usually what leads to divorce, the contract that we have is I will remember. I will not allow us to both be in the forgetting at the same time, because that equals this, that equals pushing away, and that could be separation into divorce. So that's something that I'm passionate about, helping the men embrace that responsibility and really building up the muscle of learning how to grow our presence with the feminine, right? Because men just want to fix stuff, solve stuff. We're wired that way. We were never wired to be present. But humanity right now is asking us to be more present, to slow down, and to be a good listener, and to become present. And this is the gift that my wife has given me, and the gift that I want to give other men.
And I just want to pause for a minute and say to all of you guys out there, let's realize that we are in the presence of avatars who are holding space for planetary consciousness to shift. Not only David and his wife, but I also saw this modeled in Alex and Jen, and I want to give them a shout out too with this, that the week that we were in Costa Rica, because it's a very high level of consciousness for two people to come together and to hold this space. But for the transformation that we're being called to do on the planet, this is a very, very important component. And whether you are in one of these relationships, or you have one, or you're trying to create one, I just want to pause for a minute and let you know, thank you. Thank you to your wife. Thank you to Alex. And thank you to Jen. People that I know personally who are powerful master avatars who are holding the space for a planetary shift, planetary consciousness to absolutely shift. And it's fun that these people are my friends. And they're your friends too when you guys hang out here. So welcome to the family. I love it.
Cool. Thanks for that shout out. And by the way, my wife is a love coach. She's a stand for the feminine to soften and to surrender and to call in her king. She's wild woman in love. So she was the single woman, more type A, more the achiever. I don't need a man to be happy. You know, wanted dad's love more as a little girl. So she played basketball, came home with bruises. And so she, you know, she gave away her feminine. She bent herself, which is very common with women. We'll bend ourselves to fit into cultures. Absolutely.
Especially women who are leading movements, leading companies, leading families. We are stepping more into leadership roles. And there's a natural, I find this has been my personal journey, that's a natural area where I tend to step on the gas a little too much. I tend to be the man in too many relationships. And so I've had to learn to back off, and I've had very wise friends along the way, you being one of them, put me in check about my role as the divine feminine. And it's just, like I said, such an honor and privilege to be in circles with very high level souls and consciousness who understand what's going on the planet and hold this compassionate space for understanding and growth. So thank you for being such a huge presence in my life. Now, I got to bring the Akashic Records to your life, and you hadn't necessarily experienced the Akashic Records with that language and going in the way that I was able to take you in. We're going to transition here in just a bit, where I'm going to do some readings for everybody out there in the audience. So, hey, guys, go ahead and start typing in your questions. But what did you think of your time going into the Akashic Records with me, friend?
So I don't know if your mom's listening yet, so I'll just say it how it is and was. It was badass. It was like I got into the spaceship and I went into this vortex, this portal, and you took me for this magical ride, you know, through the ocean kingdom into the core of the earth, all the way back up into the ethos. And like I recorded it all and I saw it all, and I saw the sacred geometry, and I saw the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, and I got downloaded with some messages. And you and I learned a word, maybe you knew it before, I didn't know it, when we were at Alex's event, which was ineffable, which means undescribable or indescribable. Like you can't use words, right? When you come home to this remembrance of soul and who I am and why I'm here, and you reconnect to source, it is an ineffable experience. So I'm doing my best to articulate it. All I can say is I got in the Emily rocket ship. You beamed me up. All my molecules just dispersed, and I became one with everything. The coolest part, though, was all the colors. I saw like all the, you know, the colors of the chakras like shattered into these beautiful, you know, just like millions of pieces like everywhere. It's like almost like the galaxy. And I felt like I was being attuned, like I was literally being like upgraded and downloaded with a languaging that it was invisible, but yet I understood it.
Yep. That is you being able to experience yourself as quantum energy. And when we can experience ourselves as quantum energy on the quantum realm, when we witness ourselves like that, we naturally begin to up level. We just begin to know more about ourselves, and that language begins to come online. And it's an indescribable language because it's an intuitive language. There's not necessarily vocabulary that goes with it. That's why it's so important that we begin to develop our psychic, our intuitive senses, because every single human being has the ability to experience themselves in this way and tune in to this level of knowledge. However, I'll be honest with you, it's guarded, and I see a lot of my students here. It's guarded information. There is spiritual purification and cleansing before you get access to that level. You have to be willing to see yourself as clearly and truthfully as the information is available. And once you're able to witness yourself in that space, the rest of the universe begins to make sense, because all of the patterns that you have seen on the microcosm of yourself as you begin to become self-aware, you'll find present everywhere else in the universe. Another beautiful thing about the records is not only can we get information and understanding, but you get downloads, you get codes, you get information coming in. So how about this? To switch the mood up a little bit, David, I need just like a moment to scroll through and find questions. I was wondering if you could just like do a little soundtrack for me. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, you mean you want me to do my college days where I did the human beatbox?
That's exactly what I want you to do while I scroll through. Mm-hmm. Like that. Like that. Oh. Thank you. It's good. Okay, you got me all ready for Amber here, except for, like, I'm gonna out myself for aging. I am getting up there. I'm about 42. I'm gonna have to like totally lean in here to read this. I need to get a bigger screen.
Yeah, you got the magic carpet ride comment from Jim over your third eye.
Oh, nice.
You got to duck under him. You got to do limbo.
I got to duck under. Well, I have Amber up. I have Amber up now. Don't I have
still
Amber
see
up?
Jim's comment on my screen.
Okay, I'm going to try to flick Amber back up here. Make sure we got Amber up.
I'll tell you if I see it.
And then I'll back up. How do I find out if anything from my past lives are blocking my success in this one? All right, Miss Amber. Anything that we are experiencing that we have experienced in past lives, if it's showing up as a karmic issue, it's going to play a role in your life right now. So one aspect of past lives that I kind of makes me like, it's like stale to me, although I do recognize that we are living many existences at once, is that it feels, it's like we are like, oh, it happened back here. Maybe I need to go to the past life and clear. Bullshit. Figure out exactly how it's showing up in your life right now. Realize that it's been a cycle that if you clear it now, it's going to get out of your way forever. That's what's more important is, so you've been dragging it for the past however many lifetimes. Are you ready to let it go now? Because the now moment is when all of the work is done. So it doesn't matter how long you've had it in the past or how long you might be projected to hold it in the future. If you recognize in the now moment that you want to make shift and you're asking this question, the fact that you're asking the question means that you have the consciousness and the awareness to see and move and shift and change this right now. So I just want to hold space that every single person right now on this call, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, if there's anything that you feel like is blocking your success, meaning look at your life, and if you're not like, yes, I love this successful life that I have created, let's move into the now moment right now together and make a choice to shift it. Okay? Yes, there's something from your past life blocking it. It's also in your present life blocking it. And basically what blocks us is fear. Fear of playing small. That's what's coming in specifically for you, Amber, right now, and everybody else who's resonating. This is not just for Amber. If you are hearing this message, if your cells are hearing this message, then this message is for you too. Okay? But if you are playing small, you are going to find that your career is not unfolding the way that you want it to unfold. And it's because you need to put your big boy pants on and your big girl pants on and play big. And I'm going to make a very bold statement. If you are on this call right now, this broadcast, live or on the replay, your soul is synchronistically aligned to be here so you can be infused with the energy that's going to allow you permission to get big. Okay? You are seeking getting big. I'm just going to send that through right now as a transmission. Just receive that. Just breathe in that energy. This is for Amber and anybody who wishes to receive that energy. And just notice Notice anything going on inside of your body, inside of your awareness. It's okay if you're not feeling anything, but just notice what's present for you. And see if you can tune into that and just be with your experience. Being present with your experience when you're receiving downloads is just one of the best ways to embody them. Don't question it, just be present with it. Just holding your awareness present with this download for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Good job. How's that feel, everybody? Adela says, I want to be big. Adela, I see you. Nicole says, clearing. I see that. I witnessed that. I witnessed your clearing. Whew, totally lightheaded. How you feeling, friend? David? Good. Oh, Jen. Okay, Jen says she would love advice on what is holding her back. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. Let's hang out for a few more minutes doing readings, and then we will plug the information for Man On Live one more time, because I did share that link with you guys to make sure that you get your tickets. Okay, Jen, advice on what's holding you back is the same thing that we just talked about, and this is what happens when there is information coming alive in a moment for a particular collective. So holding space again, that every single one of you who are here are crossing this energy by divine synchronicity to just get the energy you need to get big. Jen, what's holding you back is your fear of playing big. Specifically for you, truth serum is needed, okay? Because you have stopped speaking your truth for so long, you don't even know what necessarily your truth is, or what excites you, or where your areas of curiosity or passion are. And so if you are one of those people who feel like you know there's something else for you, but it's not clear on what it is, this is where you have to, and I'm going to go back to David's quote from the beginning, you have to not stop listening to your brain and listen to your soul. Because the brain is going to get in the way of figuring out what this thing is. And you're going to be like, I don't know what it is. And as soon as your brain recognizes that it doesn't know what it is, you're going to find more evidence in life that supports not knowing what it is. You got to cut this story. You got to listen to your soul and just know and recognize, trust me right now. This is what it looks like. Your soul is going to tell you there's something different for you. Your brain is going to be like, yeah, but I don't know what it is. So I guess I'll just sit here and just stay continued and blocked up in my... No, put yourself in the frequency of other people who are expanding their consciousness, because just being in that vibrational frequency will begin to unlock your divine blueprint. It will not be denied to you. It's always great. Also, go back to who you were when you were a little kid, and when you went to the family reunions and Auntie Susie asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be an astronaut. What did you want to be when you were a little boy, David Mehler?
I told my parents that I was here to help people heal.
What did they say to that?
They said, don't you want to be a cowboy, an Indian, or a fireman?
Interesting.
I said no.
Cool. I was shooting for going to space. I think my ancestral lineages were showing up at that point in time. You know what makes me lovely, what allows me to witness myself in a lovely way as a parent right now is the recognition of, if my kids showed up like that and said, I want to be a healer, I'd be like, all right, cool, let's go. It would make perfect sense. So look how far we've come.
It would be great if we taught our kids to say, I just want to be me.
Yeah, one of my favorites is when John Lennon got the F for his kindergarten assignment. His teacher said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I want to be happy. And she said, I don't think you understand the assignment. And he said, I don't think you understand life.
It's beautiful.
So Jen, and everyone else who is feeling held back, go back to when you were a child. We talked about that beautiful inner child. It's that playful quality of being able to show up and embrace life with that level of openness and curiosity and passion to just lean into the moment. Maybe you're not going to go be an astronaut. Now I'm not going to go back to my child and be like, oh, I'm literally going to go be an astronaut. This is symbolic work for us. And you might be alive in another area of your life at this point in time, but just going back and having that remembrance will wake up that ability for you to lay that template over your life now. What in childlike excitement, if you could go do or be anything, would you go do or be? All right, I'm just going to send the energy of the reconnection with the inner child, strengthening that energy, amplifying that. Pay attention if you feel like doing something a little silly for the rest of the day or the rest of this week. That's your inner child coming up, nudging you, getting back in that playful space. I talk about the divine formula for us to really show up and be in flow state a lot. And for me, that divine formula includes equal parts rest, practice, and play. So my divine rest, my divine practice, and my divine play. And if those things get out of balance for me, I'm just not my best. I'm still okay. I'm still decent. I had an acting coach tell me one time, even when you're bad, you're good. Mm-hmm. I like to be really on point. I like to play full out, David. David was able to see me and hold space for me just going hardcore, playing full out, taking a stand for people, learning to read the Akashic records. It's such a gift. It was such a gift for me to be witnessed in that space, my friend. And equally beautiful for me to return part of that gift and say, I have this amazing audience here who is ready to up level. And for me to be able to bring a master in and have them witness you is spectacular. I'm going to post the link one more time for Man on Fire. What can they expect when they go to this event?
Before I tell them that, I want to say that you actually did become an astronaut. You learned to go all the way up and access the records and help people with this. So congratulations on achieving your childhood dream.
Thank you. Thank you.
It just looks a little different, but nevertheless, you got there. And so ask me the question again, because I got distracted with the whole astronaut.
Okay. Oh, and I thought of another question that I wanted to ask you too. All right. Well, I was going to say plug Man on Fire one more time, but let's save that for 1 second because we got kind of deep there, and I want to ask you a deep question too.
Let's go.
All right. What transformational change did you experience in Costa Rica that is going to directly influence Man on Fire?
I would say that I experienced a deepening of my reverence for fellow man. Because I think that the thing that we are all seeking is the same, which is to be fully witnessed, to be fully seen. And the more we do our own work, the more we do what you said, which is face our fears and embrace our gifts, the more we shine and the more we grow our capacity to see other human beings. And I think one of the greatest pains and why some people actually even end up exiting this world is when they don't feel fully seen. They don't feel that they feel isolated and alone, like they don't fit in. So Costa Rica and its beautiful vibrational capacity, I felt more expanded in my reverence for fellow man. Thanks for asking that question.
Yeah. Thank you for showing up and being you. The earth is so alive right now. Let's just all everybody pause and hold witness for how ready the planet is for this kind of work. For us all to be seen and to participate in the shift that we're called here. Thank you all. It's good stuff. I know, feeling it.
Soup.
Soup is my favorite food. I saw my friend Jimmy Stevens on here earlier, one of my dearest and best friends in the world, and he knows that soup is my favorite food.
I saw you eat soup in the airport.
That's right. That's right. All right, my friends, share with everybody a little bit more about what the transformation they're gonna undergo when they hang out with you for Man on Fire. This is a men's only event, but women, we can buy tickets for the men. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, a good amount of men in my community actually came at the request from their wife or their partner, knowing that they, they see them for who they really are. They can feel that they've contracted and are playing small, and it's creating pain in the family dynamic. And they didn't send their man saying, hey, you need to be fixed, you're broken. They sent them with love saying, I need you to find yourself again. I'm longing for that version of you. Mm-hmm. So what men can expect at this program, Emily, is kind of what you were just teaching, which is where the questions came in earlier for you about, what's holding me back? Is it connected to my past life? Or, what is it that's not allowing me to move forward? And you said it as plain and simple as it can be said, which is called fear. And we've all heard the acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real, that we've made solid, or fear, excuse my language, fuck everything and run. So what can men expect at Man on Fire Live is for fear to stand for face everything and rise. It's time. It's time to put the stake in the ground. It's time to draw the line in the sand. It's time to say enough. It's time to take back my power. It's time to take back my courage. Time to take back my gifts, my presence, my authenticity, my integrity, my self-respect. It's going to be an environment, a soup that we're going to build a field effect, right? You're in between two speakers. Eventually you're going to dance. We're creating a field effect, like the master nodal point, where if you're in the vibration of this field, you will come along, you will come home to the remembrance and the bigness of who you are as a man. You will grow your integration between your mind, your heart, and your power center. And you'll bring this back from the program, back into your environment, back into your family dynamic. A lot of guys are coming to save their marriage. A lot of guys are coming because they just can tell that they're playing Russian roulette with their life. Like, I'm stuck. I'm miserably stuck. I know where this is headed if I don't take a stand for myself and my life. So it's for the men that are truly ready to draw that line in the sand and say enough. I'm not willing to deflect and default this to someday. There is no someday. It's not in the calendar. It's Monday through Sunday. There's no such thing as someday. Someday is an imaginary place that we make up as men to excuse us from the responsibility of taking action, what's called now, in this present moment. And that's what we're here to support the men in, that know that the calling is now. They can't put this off anymore. They're not willing to switch time zones, and they get it. I'm ready to step into this new life. Come and be immersed in the soup of Man on Fire. Come home to the remembrance of your passion, your power, and your purpose. And we will see you at Man on Fire Live, mid-November, sunny Newport Beach, California. The link is attached in the comment sections. You guys get a coupon code, which gives them $700 off.
Yeah.
Normally $997. You're giving them $700 off. It's for $297. Get your butts to Man on Fire Live if this is speaking to your hearts.
And I'll just share really vulnerably, because that's what I do here. I'm sending Mike to this because you guys see the huge explosion that has happened here at the Akashic Academy in just under a year. We've gone from 1,500 followers to over 16,000 followers. I'm speaking at Harvard next month. Shit's getting big. And while I feel so ready and at the helm, and I love leading this movement, you guys know, because I share vulnerably, I'm a girl from Missouri, small town Missouri. I broke out of small town Missouri. I spent 20 years in Hollywood. I'm still just a small town girl from Missouri running the show here. I've got a real life. I got a man, I got kids, I got animals, I got all of this stuff that I'm trying to make work. And during this last season, I call it the eclipse season, from the Lion's Gate in the summer and all of the celestial shifting that we had really aligning, allowing us to step into really big shoes. I get ferocious during those times, and I want to step up and get big, but there's a family around me who's like, what the? Okay, here she goes. And Mike brought my awareness to something so beautiful when I got off the plane from Costa Rica. I was really like, are you channeling David Mehler right now? What's going on right here? He had the awareness of the recognition. Everyone in my life who's going to stand across from me is going to be just as big of a visionary as they're going to have big energy too. Mike's got big energy, big creative passion, big artistic vision. Our three children, holy crap, they're a combination of both of our how big you think their visions are? David got to meet a couple of them before we came on. You guys see stuff that I post about the kids. Kids with a huge heart, a huge soul. We're 5 human beings with some of the hugest energy on the planet trying to exist in one house and grow and expand together. And once he realized that, I instantly said to him, I'm like, all right, you got to go to Man on Fire, because I don't know how to lead people through that. You have to be the one who figures out how to lead that. Like, you're the one with the master's degree in organizational leadership. Dude, like, we need some leadership around here because it's getting big. Yeah. And so I'm excitedly sending members of my family to learn to upgrade, hold the space for people who want to get big. So I hope we will see you there. I won't see you there personally because I'm not allowed to go. But I'll be holding space. I'll be that feminine energy holding the space for you guys that weekend. So excited that I had this time with you, my friend. You've been traveling a lot. Are you taking off anywhere anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm constantly traveling because part of my mission, which I didn't tell you earlier, over 10 years ago, I kind of visualized being given the responsibility of taking care of visionaries and leaders for humanity, knowing that they're in a position of authority and power, and people follow leaders, but some people follow unhealthy leaders. Mm-hmm. My secret mission was to make sure that they're aligned in their heart. So I'm very blessed that, like, right now I'm taking care of David Mehler, who's one of the visionaries out there, Powerful Living Experience. Then I'm flying and taking care of Tony Robbins. I mean, there's all these people that I've been given the gift, this sacred honor to take care of them, help them show up in their peak performance, help them stay fully aligned in the integrity of who they were born to be. So lots of travel, lots of journeys, and then I have another Man on Fire program at the end of October, which is different than the one we're offering up to your tribe. So yeah, I'm a busy bee. I'm collecting miles.
I love it. I'm taking off again too. Within a few hours, I'm heading back to Shasta, friend. I'm so excited. Nice. I've been through huge amounts of transformation, and you know that I have an event coming up next spring there that I'm still in your ear. Do you want to come to Shasta? We will keep talking about
April
this.
In the 20s.
That's right, April in the 20s. And I'm so excited to be going there and just grounding in all of the transformation, all of the shift that's happening. I'm excited to take this sacred energy that we've created today with me on my road trip. It's so good to see you. You're become like travel compliant. Every time I'm getting ready to go travel somewhere, here you are in my energy holding space. So I feel honored to be one of those leaders that you're taking care of just by showing up, being with me before I leave, being with my community, my tribe here. It's an honor to introduce you. You're big time. So thanks for being here. I love you.
Thank you. And I want to leave by saying I want to honor and acknowledge your courage, your feminine courage to embrace the responsibility that you've taken on to bring this gift that you have and to teach others to really tap into the records and to bring more of themselves to humanity. That took a lot of courage, and you need to know that that's valued by a lot of people. There's a lot of people whose lives you're impacting by modeling feminine courage. So I want to acknowledge you for that, and I want to acknowledge you for having the trust to bring me, onto your tribe, into your audience, into your group, and allowing me to share some of my gifts. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I receive all of that. You're amazing, guys. I love you out there too. Thank you for being a part of this mission and holding the space for every single bit of growth that we experience is collective here. So I invite you to dig in and receive as well. What we've created here in this space, you are part of. Be a divine receiver of it. Let it be the energy that allows you to get big. And we're going to see you guys at Man on Fire. Have a good rest of your day.